Hey everyone, it's your football commissioner Bennett with the Week 14 weekly recap in our Forest Land Mishmash Football League. Apologies in advance for my annoyance, but as you'll see, if you haven't noticed already, the Slim Aussies did not make the playoffs in spite of having the best odds coming into the weekend, and in spite of actually having a decent day. It just not wasn't meant to be, and I'm a little more than a little annoyed, but I will power through it to give you the weekly recap. So, if you recall, we had the two division winners were already locked up: First Down Order and Graceland, who coincidentally, and incidentally played each other, and which could be a Super Bowl preview. And for Graceland's perspective, I'm sure she hopes not, because First Down Order took care of business, 45 points from Breeze. You can see the recap here. An amazing day. Hopefully, for Mark's sake, not peaking too early, because essentially it was just a game, regular season game. Meanwhile, the Stallions, the Third and Oolong, and the Slim Aussies were all vying for two wild card positions, with Stallions and Slim Aussies controlling their own destiny at 7-6-1, or sorry, 7-5-1. And both had the opportunity to win, and they were in. And then, of course, if Third and Oolong won as well, and one of the other teams stumbled, they would get in, and that's exactly what happened. First, let's take a look at Third and Oolong, who took care of business to go to 8-6. Came a little bit of good luck. Sometimes it takes a little luck because, and this thing's always slow when I do my recaps. Because the Catonsville Cartel had a couple injuries, and while you'd like to think that they would try and replace those players with other players, it's not entirely indefensible, as I stall for time, to not find replacement players. So you'll see in a second, if it loads up, that the Cartel had both Josh Jacobs and I believe Le'Veon Bell, who was bowling actually better than I typically bowl, 251 with the flu the night before missing the game. He's out. Josh Jacobs was ruled out Sunday morning. And as you'll see, if this stupid thing will load up, and it never loads up. There we go. So again, Cartel gets 0 from Le'Veon Bell, 0 from Josh Jacobs. Pretty decent day otherwise, and probably could have put in Brida or somebody, but obviously, again, being out of the playoffs, had no incentive to do so. Meanwhile, Third and Oolong took care of business Monday night. Carson Wentz had a great second half, as you'll see in a minute. Todd Gurley was great Sunday night. The rest of the team was just steady Eddie. They get 167 points, so they win, and they just needed a little help, and they got it. So we have, as you can see up here, Ray Finkel winning 147-142, Stallions winning 117. And, and this was interesting as it went down to Monday night, which is crazy how, even though this is just a piddly little fantasy football league, how real life sports type situations and scenarios come up. So here's the situation. We're at Monday night game. Stallions need a win. They need about 18 points from Zach Ertz to win their game, and needed help from Aussies because the Slim Aussies had the tiebreaker. Slim Aussies needed 15 points from Saquon Barkley, and as you can see, didn't get it. So here's where we were with 1:28 left in the third. You had both teams down by about 5 and 6 points respectively, with 1 quarter to play in the Monday night game. And wasn't looking great for either team. But as you can see from the final, as I clear this up, we had the Slim Aussies, I'll just point out, would have beaten the Stallions and the Cleansers and Graceland and several other teams. But the one game that mattered, or the one team that mattered, was Ray Finkel's Kicking Academy, who put up a very respectable 147 points. And it was just painful watching, first of all, on my bench, watching Darius Slayton get 2 touchdowns and 35 points. Obviously, that would have been great. I had Noah Fant, the tight end for the Broncos, in last week, and I swapped him out for Vance McDonald. He's not on my bench, but he had well more than 1 point. He would have gotten me the lead. But really what it came down to is the number one overall pick in the entire draft, Saquon Barkley, who just had a mediocre season. In spite of that, the Slim Aussies had a chance to make the playoffs. All they needed was about 15 or 16 points from Saquon Barkley, and they did not get it. And it was painful. It was 1 point here and 1 point there, and wide open for a screen pass, but Eli doesn't look, or Eli looks for the screen pass, but he gets sacked. And it was just painful. And the Slim Aussies don't get the job done. They fall 142 to 147. Meanwhile, with less than 2 minutes to go in the game, Stallions needed 4 more points from Zach Ertz. And in case you didn't watch the game, the Eagles, down by a touchdown, drove the ball. Under 2 minutes, they had a first and goal situation, and I believe got stopped on first down and either second or third down. Guess what? Zach Ertz with the touchdown to take the lead and win the game for the Stallions over the Cleansers. And then the bonus touchdown in overtime was just icing on the cake, was not needed because, as you can see, they win 128-117. So even though, like I said, the Slim Aussies had the tiebreaker with the Stallions, controlled their own destiny, were favored by about 20, they fall. The Stallions and Third and Oolong get in. So we'll look at the playoff matchup in just a second. First, let's take a look at the final standings. Always good to look at the points for. And kudos to First Down Order, who really did not do a ton the first half of the year, but went on a big win streak. So they do end up right in the middle of the pack with points, but they really, really came on strong at the end. So they have nothing to apologize for. The Somerset Stallions get a little bit of luck. They're 6th in scoring, but they're the 3rd seed. Graceland easily deserves the number 1 seed. Actually doesn't. She doesn't get the 1st seed because she's 9-5. So she'll be the 2nd seed, but had the most points in the league. And so when you look at it, the 2 tough luck teams were the Travelers and the Slim Aussies, who were in the top 4 in scoring, but did not make the playoffs. And it's a real bummer, but as Chris Berman always says, that's why you play the games. So there are the final standings. And let's take a look at the matchup for the weekend for the first round of the playoffs. You have, and I can't remember, this may be the first time ever that we have a husband-wife matchup in the playoffs. In the semifinals, we have the number 2 seeds Graceland facing the number 3 seed Stallions. Not sure if they set their rosters yet, but as we sit, Graceland is a 23-point favorite. Then in the other matchup, we have the number 1 seed First Down Order against Third and Oolong, who squeaked in at the last minute. And again, not sure if the lineups are set, but they are favored by 4. So that's how we stand going into the 2 weeks of playoffs. We have the consolation ladder, but who cares about that? And that's it. So obviously, I'm super bummed that I did not make it. I had it in my hands, and I guess, if your number 1 pick in the entire draft, Saquon Barkley or whoever, can't get double-digit or more points in the final game, I guess you sort of don't deserve to win. That makes it slightly less painful, but still hurts. Anyway, good luck to the playoff teams. And, there may be a couple stragglers. I'll have to look at my notes to see who's paid and who hasn't. Most of you have paid, but if you have not, send me through Venmo or send me a check and get those in. And we'll see you after the playoffs. Good luck to the playoff teams. And it's been a great fantasy football season in spite of the disappointing result for myself and my team. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great week.